This is the Sunday school lesson for August 26th. This coming Sunday, Sunday school for elementary and youth will be at 10 o'clock here in the temporary building. And the story they are reading is about Jubilee. Every 50 years you have a celebration. And this is from Leviticus chapter 25, verses 8 through 55. So while that's a really long passage, the Shine Bible has it really short. So this is on page 58 of the Shine Bible. Super short story. And actually one that doesn't do justice, I think, to the actual story in Leviticus about Jubilee. So what I'd like for you to do with the kids is show them how this story looks in different Bibles. The first one being, and I'll have this out, but you don't have to have one for each kid, in our Bible that we give our 10-year-olds. So, something we expect them to know. Starting right here, says Year of Jubilee. This is the actual scripture reading. However, I've made some copies from Children's Bible for you to hand out to the kids so that what I think would be neat for them to read initially is verses 8 through 12. And that's just this first paragraph. But it talks about the 7 times 7 is 49 years leading up to the 50th year being Jubilee. And it just gives a little history about why they celebrated Jubilee. So there's enough for each kid to have their own copy if they want to read along. If the youth wants to read it, if they want to take turns reading it, however they want to do that. But then they can look at the difference between what the Shine Bible has and how this looks in a more grown-up version, a more adult version of the Bible. And then I want to show them the version from the Poverty and Justice Bible. So this is a great Bible that highlights in orange throughout the Bible all the places God tells us we need to care for other people. This passage is highly highlighted, and I think it's a great way to talk to the kids about areas in our sacred stories that are telling us how to help other people. This is a copy of that passage from the Poverty and Justice Bible. You can see, and it starts basically here with the year of celebration, and then it goes all the way down to right there. I'll make some copies of this too so the kids can look at it, and then maybe they can work, depending on how many you have, in groups or individually to write down what are the different rules you see listed in this particular sacred story for how we're to help others during Jubilee. So some examples. No land shall be permanently bought and sold. It isn't your land. You only live there for a little while. Don't ever worry about what you'll eat because I will provide for you. Don't cheat. This is the year of celebration. If any of your people become poor and unable to support themselves, you must help them. So there's probably like more than a dozen ways that a kid could look at this and see, oh, here's one rule, here's one rule. These are just, some things that were written down obviously at the time. So, but I think that'll be an interesting exercise for them to understand that this year of Jubilee wasn't just about celebrating, it was about giving back and helping others. And I think that's an important lesson for them to take away. Then the last thing I have for them is a worksheet. That sounds like it's homework or something. It's called A Footprint on the World, and it lists some ways that they say, what could you do to help the earth? Check mark next to the Jubilee ideas listed here. And then they can go through that, and then they can come up with an idea of their own. This is probably more like if there's time left, or they can take it home with them and think about it too. So that would be an idea. There's another thing. So in the Shine Bible, after you've looked at the Shine and compared the stories from the different Bibles, there's a question up here in the Explorer that says, what if we would practice the year of Jubilee today? What would it look like? Who would give up land and who would receive land? Who would be freed? I think those are really interesting questions for our kids to contemplate in today's world. Who do they perceive as needing to be freed? Who do they perceive as needing land? And it can be as simple as a homeless person versus, people, immigrants who are fleeing war-torn countries, something like that. So I think there's a lot to unpack in this story, and it doesn't have to be intense or depressing or anything like that, but it's definitely, we would be doing it an injustice if all we talked about was celebrating. And so most of those things I have picked out here to do are not from the actual Sunday school lesson, because I think it's a great opportunity to look at these different Bibles and see how they compare and what they're telling us. So let me know if you have any questions. If you love something from the lesson that I will, of course, send you as usual, feel free to do that too. And if you need materials, just let me know. Okay, thanks so much.